Tonight on CTV News, the brutal murder of an elderly couple.
The fact that this could happen to them, it just is unbelievable and it's shocking.
The trial of three men accused of killing an Abbotsford couple in their home. What Crown is saying was the motive for the murders.
They took $1,780 from me.
A Richmond travel agency under fire. Angry customers show up demanding their money back, telling CTV they've been scammed.
We miss our daughter every minute of every day.
Should faith-based institutions be allowed to refuse medical assistance in dying? Sam O'Neill's family launches a constitutional challenge.
This is CTV News with Mi Jung Lee.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. Prosecutors in a double murder case say the motive was greed. Three men are accused of brutally killing an elderly Abbotsford couple in their home. The courtroom was packed with family and friends of the seniors whose lives came to an horrific end. CTV's Michelle Bernaro has the story and a warning. Some of the details are graphic.
Those who knew Arnold and Joanne DeYoung say they were wonderful people.
They were caring, they were loving. They gave so much to us.
But in May of 2022, the seniors, both in their late 70s, were found murdered in their own home. Court heard their hands and feet had been tied with rope. Arnold's entire head and face was tightly wrapped in duct tape. The prosecution says evidence will show Joanne DeYoung died of blunt force trauma and her husband from asphyxiation.
The fact that this could happen to them, it just is unbelievable and it's shocking, and I think everybody should take notice that the world that we live in is there's evil.
The way they were tragically taken is abhorring, but their faith in God, we know where they are, and we have comfort in that.
Three Surrey men, Gurcharan Singh, Abhijit Singh, and Kushveer Tour, are each charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder. They have pleaded not guilty. Crown says Gurcharan Singh was in Canada on a student visa, arriving less than a month before the killings. Crown alleges the three acted as a team and violently confined the DeYoungs in separate bedrooms and then murdered them. Crown claims they were all motivated by debt, financial pressure, and greed. The prosecution also alleges the accused stole Arnold's credit cards and checks.
It's like a nightmare, and it continues to be a nightmare.
Crown told court that Abhijit Singh's cleaning company had done work on the couple's home twice, including the month before the murders. Meanwhile, the DeYoung's children say they are frustrated with how long it's taken for the case to get to court, but they are hoping there will be justice. The trial is expected to last 8 weeks. Michelle Bernaro, CTV News, Abbotsford.
An investigation is underway in Surrey after a man was found dead inside of a burning home this morning. It happened around 7 a.m. on 56th Avenue in the Panorama Ridge area of Surrey. While fire crews battled the massive blaze, they discovered the dead body of an adult man inside. Homicide investigators have since taken over the case and are working alongside Surrey police to determine the cause of death. Anyone with information or surveillance video is being asked to contact iHit. Nearly 2 years after Sam O'Neill had to be transferred out of St. Paul's Hospital in the final hours of her life in order to obtain medical assistance in dying, her mother is preparing to testify in BC Supreme Court. CTV's Shannon Patterson has more on what's likely to be a precedent-setting constitutional challenge on religious exemptions for MAID.
On April 4th, 2023, Sam O'Neill chose medical assistance in dying. The 34-year-old had terminal cancer and could no longer bear the pain.
Sam didn't want the cancer to win. MAID could have helped her accomplish that last piece of control in her life.
But O'Neill's parents say the final hours of her life were chaotic and undignified. They said their final goodbyes to their daughter while she sat on a commode chair at St. Paul's Hospital covered with a sheet, waiting to be transferred to another facility because faith-based institutions won't allow MAID on site.
I was shocked and appalled by the indignity of what we were witnessing. I stifled my horror, and I told Sam quickly that being her mom was the first, most joyful part of my life. I loved being her mom. I told her how proud I was of who she became and how sorry I was that this had snowballed so quickly.
O'Neill had to be sedated for pain during the transfer and didn't wake up before the MAID procedure was performed.
It is crushing to know that Sam's last memory on this earth was that of extreme pain caused by the transfer.
Gay O'Neill is the lead plaintiff and will testify first in a constitutional challenge that's now underway at BC Supreme Court.
The goal would be that it is found that buildings do not have charter rights to conscience objections, and that the government forces publicly funded healthcare facilities to allow MAID to be provided on site, not by the clinicians working in those religious institutions, but by clinicians who are available and willing to do so.
We do not want to see anyone else suffer needlessly from another unjustified forced transfer.
In a statement, Providence Healthcare, which operates St. Paul's Hospital, said it looks forward to presenting its position in court, adding, Providence has a long-standing moral tradition of compassionate care that neither prolongs dying nor hastens death, rooted in the belief that all life is sacred and in the dignity of the person.
Testimony is expected to last 4 weeks. Closing arguments are scheduled for mid-April, and it's hoped the Chief Justice of the BC Supreme Court will make his ruling by late summer. Shannon Patterson, CTV News, Vancouver.
More than 200 properties along a stretch of the Chilliwack River remain on evacuation alert tonight as an atmospheric river continues to drench the south coast and some inland areas in the Fraser Valley. CTV's Ben Milger joins us live from the Chilliwack River. Ben, how are people dealing with the situation?
Well, Mi Jung, I can tell you people living along this stretch of river are no strangers to high water. In fact, just last month during another atmospheric river, the water actually breached a dike, spilling into backyards and some outbuildings. This time around, people are not taking any chances. Rob Unruh spent all day Monday filling sandbags, hoping they'll hold back the rushing waters of the Chilliwack River, which threaten his property.
We have a gap where the water is going to come into our yard and potentially flood out about 6 properties.
In December, the river breached this rock dike, sending water into Unruh's yard and flooding some neighboring properties as well. The regional district has since shored up the dike, but Unruh is not entirely confident it will hold the water back this time.
There's a gap here which has to be filled and then come across here to link up to the dike. Otherwise, the water is just going to come in again if it gets up to the same level.
His is one of more than 200 properties the regional district placed on evacuation alert in anticipation of potential flooding from an atmospheric river expected to dump as much as 100 millimeters of rain on the area.
Given the circumstances in the last couple months and prior years, we just want people to be really ready to leave at a moment's notice should the need arise and have things of importance ready to grab at a moment's notice.
The BC River Forecast Centre has issued high stream flow advisories or flood warnings for the entire BC coast and some inland areas. It is urging people to stay away from fast-moving waterways.
The rivers are going to be changing rapidly, so a lot of increase in the flow and in the river levels, and just much more hazardous.
Until the water starts to recede, Unruh will be closely monitoring the defenses around his yard.
I'm not convinced it's going to encroach this time, but we have to do something when there's a threat, right?
The high stream flow advisories and the flood watches are expected to remain in place overnight, but could be rescinded as the rain begins to taper, and expected cooler temperatures slow the snow melt in the mountains. It will be up to the regional district to decide when to alter the evacuation alert. Mi Jung.
Okay, stay safe out there. Ben Milger reporting live tonight from Chilliwack. The heavy rain has forced some evacuations on Vancouver Island, where some areas could see 250 millimeters of rain. The Englishman River near Parksville has flooded, washing out a road. Roughly 80 people living at the Pathfinder Camp resorts have been forced out. Meanwhile, evacuation orders were issued for around 10 properties in the Chemainus Bridge area, but have now been rescinded. Let's take a look outside right now. A live shot of the West End. It's 6:09. It's still raining out there. It has been relentless all day. You know, the words atmospheric river definitely triggers stress for a lot of people.
That is right. We've seen a lot of rain this weekend and continues tonight. So 105 millimeters since Saturday into this morning for Chilliwack, 125 for Squamish, and more rain on the way as we head through this evening. So for the West Vancouver Island region, you'll see upwards of 250 millimeters of rain, upwards of 140 for inland sections of Vancouver Island. For the lower mainland, we're looking anywhere between 75 to 150 millimeters. Howe Sound, upwards of 200 millimeters of rain. Coquihalla Highway, as well as Highway 3, the Hope Princeton, we'll see anywhere between 50 to 70 millimeters of rain. The rain is expected to ease as we head through the overnight. A few showers will continue, dropping down to a very mild 9 degrees. And tomorrow it'll be warm, very spring-like, a high of 13 degrees. Slight chance of early morning showers, but we will see mostly cloudy skies and some sunny breaks.
CTV Weather brought to you by Expedia Cruises. Make the most of your next trip by booking with those who've been there. Visit expediacruises.ca.
And the good news is you can trade in your umbrella for your sunglasses. Yes, lots of sunshine on the way. Those details coming up.
Yeah, and amazingly high temperatures.
Yes, for sure.
All right, thanks, Anne. A Richmond travel agency has been stripped of its business license following allegations it's taking payments for flights but not providing tickets to customers. CTV's Martin McMahon paid a visit to the agency where frustrated clients are trying to get their money back.
She took my money for a ticket. She's not giving me the ticket.
Sam Varani booked a ticket to Hong Kong for later this month through Richmond-based travel agency Vegas Vacations at Lansdowne Centre. He says he got a receipt, but no ticket.
They took $1,780 from me.
Varani is one of 5 people CTV has spoken with about their experience with Vegas Vacations. The details vary slightly, but the general claim is that they purchased a trip, but then were not provided with a ticket. Sometimes provided partial refunds by e-transfer.
Right now, we want the ticket for Hong Kong Airlines that they've taken the money for. They reserved it. And I want the ticket.
Consumer Protection BC canceled the business license for Vegas Vacations on Friday for having insufficient capital to operate a travel business. It follows complaints from 34 people. The business has been largely unresponsive to CTV News inquiries, so we paid a visit.
We've been told that you're selling fake vacations. Is that true?
Yes.
I don't consent to being recorded right now. I don't consent to being recorded right now.
There are a lot of people that are angry. Why are they angry?
I consent to be recorded right now.
Varani was also there trying to get his ticket.
She's not giving me the ticket.
Because today
Will you shut up?
Only.
Will you keep quiet? I'm talking with them.
He was one of a number of angry people lined up outside trying to get refunds. As for options, in the case of no refund, lawyers say if the business has financial problems, there will be limitations.
An individual could have a lawful claim to get refunded, but if the defendant has no money in their pockets to pay you, then you don't get anything.
Beyond the business losing its license, Richmond RCMP has opened a file. Customers say they're out thousands of dollars. In one case, $18,000. The business has 30 days to challenge the cancellation of its license. Martin McMahon, CTV News, Richmond.
Surrey teachers and support staff held a rally this afternoon as they bargain for better working conditions.
Teachers are not out there looking for increases in wage, but really just for our working conditions to be improved.
The group gathered outside MLA Gary Begg's office in Guildford wearing red in a show of solidarity. 11 months into bargaining a new contract, teachers are demanding more support to deal with overcrowded classrooms and staffing shortages. They want the province to deliver on promises like having a mental health counselor in every school and education assistance in early grades. For the second time in roughly 2 weeks, a home in the Cloverdale area of Surrey has been targeted with gunfire. Nobody was injured, but police believe it is related to extortion. It happened in the early hours of Sunday with officers from the Surrey RCMP responding. The home had previously been shot at on New Year's Eve. This is just the latest in a string of shootings around the Lower Mainland that have been connected to extortion. The investigation continues. Businesses are bracing for a 4-month closure of Broadway west of Maine. That begins later this month. Also ahead.
We're getting better. For the most part, people are, I think, pretty good with it.
But there are those who are not. The scoop on dog poop and which neighborhoods have the worst track record when CTV News at 6 continues. Stay with us. The city of Vancouver receives complaints about a lot of things, but one issue in particular just stinks. We're talking about that disgusting feeling when your shoe meets a pile of dog poo. Tonight, we waste no time and reveal where you really need to watch your step. Here's CTV's Sinjin Alexander.
Fido may have been the culprit, but we can't blame it all on the dog. A little privacy, please, because cleaning up is just as important a responsibility as walking, throwing, and feeding. And when it's missed,
frustrating. It's very annoying when other people don't pick up their dog poop, especially when people try so hard to do it.
She's right. Some people do a crappy job. In 2018, the city of Vancouver received 100 complaints about dog poo. That crept up to 106 2 years later. And let's be honest,
it's gross. You could, step in it, sit in it.
It's most likely to crush your sole, of your shoe that is, downtown, Victoria Fraserview, Hastings Sunrise, and Kitsilano.
Or the most annoying thing I find is when they pick it up, put it in bags, and then just throw those bags randomly, and you'll find them in alleyways.
The city says picking up is essential, not only because it's filthy, but also because it contains a whole lot of unhealthy pathogens.
The parasites don't just live within the poop when it's sitting there, but even after you may think the rain washes it away, the parasites will persist in the ground for weeks or even months beyond that.
You can't leave it lying around if it's brown. That's why cities around the world have strict bylaws with big fines. Off the ground! And clever reminders. They may be working. Last year, Vancouver saw a big drop to 52 complaints, and some of it may have been left by owners in off-leash parks who just didn't notice.
You could just take your eye off your dog for 5 or 10 seconds, and it might do a sneaky poop.
But heads up, the fine is $250, so don't try a sneaky escape. Sinjin Alexander, CTV News, Vancouver.
A busy Vancouver corridor will soon partially close for 4 months. Beginning Monday, January 26, Broadway between Maine and Quebec will be closed to all traffic. It is the latest phase in construction of the new subway. The temporary bridge decks will be removed and the streets will be repaved. Buses will be rerouted along 8th Avenue. Police will be on scene 24/7 while drivers get used to the change. A new report on the cost of rent in Canada says Vancouver is seeing prices drop to their lowest level in around 4 years. The latest report from rentals.ca says Vancouver rent hit its lowest level since early 2022 at an average of $2,664. That is a 7.5% drop compared to the same time last year. North Vancouver remains the most expensive city to rent in Canada, with an average price just below $3,000 a month. Another 1,000 ICE agents descend on Minneapolis, a city still reeling after the fatal shooting of an American citizen in her car. Also ahead.
All they asking for freedom to choose to how to live, how to work.
Iranian Canadians anxious about loved ones in their home country. A rights group confirms how many protesters have been killed. Plus the latest from Washington on the unrest. That's ahead on CTV News. Americans living in Vancouver gathered outside the U.S. consulate yesterday protesting the fatal shooting of a woman in Minneapolis. Demonstrators waved banners and called for an end to immigration crackdowns in the U.S. while urging Canadians not to stay silent. It comes after 37-year-old Renee Good, a U.S. citizen, was shot and killed last week by an immigration and customs agent. The fallout from that shooting is escalating in Minnesota. The state and the Twin Cities are suing the Trump administration over its immigration crackdown. The lawsuit seeks to halt Operation Metro Surge, launched back in December to target undocumented Somali immigrants. State officials accuse the federal government of retaliation against Democratic-led Minnesota. The legal fight comes as another 1,000 ICE agents deployed in Minneapolis on top of the 2,000 already there. Iran continues to crack down on protesters following a third straight week of demonstrations. Human rights groups are saying more than 500 people have been killed, while the country continues to block internet and cell phone access. Iran says it's prepared for war but open to talks after the U.S. said it is considering a response. CTV's Mike LeCouture has the latest.
It's a daily struggle. With communications to Iran cut off, Iraj Avahani can't reach his siblings in the northeastern part of the country. Even more concerning, his nieces and nephews have gone missing.
You cannot imagine what's going on, and if the phone, they said, okay, he's dead or he's in the jail. We hope he's in the jail.
The hope is that his brother or sister won't have to visit a makeshift morgue to search for the body. U.S.-based rights group Hrana says it has verified the death of more than 500 protesters.
The repression the regime is using to quell the dissent, to basically stop people from standing up for their basic rights. The repression we're seeing is increasing every year, and I think we're at a breaking point.
Monday, State TV aired footage showing massive crowds at pro-government rallies right across the country. Iranian authorities are accusing both Israel and the U.S. of having a direct role in the political unrest. Iran's foreign minister says his country is ready for talks with the U.S., but is also fully prepared for war. Trump's spokesperson says he's ready to talk while keeping military options on the table.
What you're hearing publicly from the Iranian regime is quite differently from the messages the administration is receiving privately, and I think the president has an interest in exploring those messages.
Meanwhile, back in Ottawa, members of the Iranian-Canadian community can do little but send support.
And all they asking for freedom to choose, to how to live, how to wear, what to eat, and what they do in their life.
Prime Minister Mark Carney has condemned the killing of protesters and urged Iran to allow for freedom of expression and peaceful assembly without fear of reprisal. Mike LeCouture, CTV News, Ottawa.
U.S. President Donald Trump has signed an executive order blocking courts and creditors from seizing revenue tied to the sale of oil from Venezuela. The order states that all revenue held in foreign government deposit funds should be used in Venezuela for the purpose of creating, quote, peace and stability. The Trump administration has previously said all sales and transport of Venezuelan oil will be done through U.S. control. The U.S. State Department is warning Americans in Venezuela of an active kidnapping threat. It says there are reports of armed militias setting up roadblocks and searching vehicles for evidence of U.S. citizenship or support for the states. Americans are being urged to leave immediately as international flights resume. Venezuela remains at the highest travel advisory level, which is do not travel. Despite the Trump administration's continuing threats against Greenland, NATO Secretary General says there is no crisis within the organization and all parties are working together to protect the Arctic.
My only worry is how do we stay safe? Against the Russians, against any other adversary. Look at what China is doing in rapidly building up its own armed forces, but also North Koreans and others who might wish us ill.
Trump has said the U.S. needs to own Greenland for security and has warned it will be taken the easy way or the hard way. One of the world's most active volcanoes puts on another dramatic show how Kilauea lit up the Hawaiian sky. Also ahead.
She was such a lovely person and just willing to help anyone, and she didn't deserve her fate.
He felt moved to help after the violent death of a mother of 6 in Merritt, what an ultra-marathon runner did to support her children. Ahead on CTV News at 6. One of the world's most active volcanoes was putting on a show again after glowing lava was visible inside the Kilauea volcano on the Big Island of Hawaii late last night and into early this morning. The crater that formed when the volcano collapsed is nearly 3 miles long, 2 miles wide, and has an area of more than 4 square miles. The volcano has been experiencing on and off eruptions since December 2024. A Merritt man has finished a grueling 24-hour run to show support for the children of Pamela Jarvis, a woman killed in his community last month. CTV's Michelle Bernoro has more.
Despite the snow, cold, and fatigue, Mark Nendick kept running.
It was incredible. Like, there was people, you know, the first hour or two I was by myself, but then the rest of the day I had company.
From 8 a.m. Saturday to 8 a.m. Sunday, he ran more than 400 times around a track in Merritt, taking only short breaks as he clocked a total distance of 156 kilometers. The ultra-endurance athlete did the run because he wanted to help raise money for the children of Pamela Jarvis, who was killed in Merritt December 16th. Her husband, Christopher Jarvis, is charged with second-degree murder.
She has 6 children, and the only thing I know that I could help with is, you know, I love to run. She was such a lovely person and just willing to help anyone, and she didn't deserve her fate.
Nendick said his family knew Pamela Jarvis and her children.
I want her legacy to live on, you know, because the news cycle and life just moves fast and people get forgot about them. And these kids have their whole lives ahead of them and they need help and support.
Some of Jarvis's children volunteered at the event, which raised $3,000. Nendick teamed up with Boston Pizza's Valentine's Day Paper Hearts campaign in Merritt, which is also fundraising for the children. Michelle Bernoro, CTV News, Vancouver.
A dog is being hailed for his smarts after making a great escape from a shelter. Security video shows the 5-year-old pit bull mix named Dawson pushing his enclosure open. The 48-pound pup then heads to the front door, goes up on his hind legs, and gnaws the lock open. The furry fugitive didn't stay on the lamb long. He was found and returned days later. The shelter said the viral escape has led to donations topping $15,000. Wow, you can never underestimate the intelligence of a dog. He could actually figure out how to open the lock. Lucy would have a harder time.
Yes, she's a little shorter.
Yeah, she'd have to push a stool into position and then climb up, right?
And knowing her, she probably would be able to do that. Get a ladder out, definitely. Well, hopefully he's able to find his forever home soon. Now that people know that he's an escape artist, definitely lock your doors.
Definitely.
All right, let's take a look at our forecast. It is still wet out there. We do have this atmospheric river bringing in all the moisture that we saw all weekend long, continuing through today and tonight. It'll slowly ease as we head through the overnight hours. So warnings are still in place. West Vancouver Island will see upwards of 250 millimeters of rain by the time everything is said and done. Upwards of 140 millimeters for the inland sections of Vancouver Island. For the lower mainland, we'll see anywhere between 75 to 150 millimeters. Howe Sound, upwards of 200 millimeters of rain. Coquihalla Highway, as well as Highway 3, the Hope Princeton, you'll see anywhere between 50 to 70 millimeters of rain. So we do have a flood watch in place for Vancouver Island. Near Parksville, there is a flood warning. The Fraser Valley, as well as the North Shore and Sunshine Coast, flood watches in place as we head through tomorrow. So this is what we can expect. Come on, let's go. A little bit. We're still waiting. There we go. Here's a look at our weather tracker. The rain will ease through the overnight into tomorrow morning. A few scattered showers. Dry, though, for most of the day with a few sunny breaks as we head through the afternoon. Clears up quite nicely as we head through the overnight into Wednesday. So cloudy skies for Port Hardy tomorrow with a high of 12. You'll see some sunny breaks for the central interior. Your provincial forecast at the bottom of your screen. That's what you can expect for Campbell River and Comox with a high of 11 degrees. Rain continues for Tofino with a high of 11. Showers for Port Alberni with a high of 10. Mostly cloudy skies and sunny breaks from Nanaimo right down to Victoria. Balmy temperatures between 11 and 12 degrees. You'll see early morning showers drying up for the Sunshine Coast with a high of 12. That's what you can expect up the Sea to Sky Highway. 8 degrees for both Squamish and Whistler, and for us across the lower mainland. Look at these warm temperatures between 13 and 14 degrees under mostly cloudy skies with some sunny breaks in there. Heading into Wednesday, we'll start off foggy, cloudy through the afternoon hours, clearing up for Thursday under a mix of sun and cloud. lots of sunshine for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Heading into Monday, we'll see a mix of sun and cloud and a high of 8. CTV weather brought to you by Expedia Cruises for air, land, and sea vacations. So you can trade in your umbrellas for some sunglasses because lots of sunshine on the way.
Yeah, and we won't need a really heavy winter coats. Tomorrow, 13, 14 degrees even in some places.
Put on your sandals. It's going to be like spring up there.
Get your shorts on.
Exactly.
Okay, I predict we'll probably have the Canadian hotspot somewhere in the lower mainland. Don't you think?
We'll keep an eye on records as well.
Okay, thanks, Anne. Well, the deadline to apply for World Cup tickets is quickly approaching. What you need to know for a crack at buying tickets also ahead.
Steve Martin, Martin Short especially, I remember growing up watching you guys my whole life thinking one day I'm going to beat them.
A great night for Canadians at the Golden Globes, from Seth Rogen to the Canadian writer of K-pop Demon Hunters, who went home with the hardware. That's ahead.
Time now for tonight's Skywatch. A look at both lines guarding the Main Street overpass on a gray and wet day.
CTV Skywatch is brought to you by Kermac Collision and Autoglass, the name you'll remember when it matters. Kermac cares for kids.
A new report shows many of the fastest growing jobs in Canada involve technology like artificial intelligence. LinkedIn's annual Jobs on the Rise report ranks the 15 fastest growing jobs in Canada over the past 3 years. AI engineers, AI consultants and strategists, and machine learning researchers take 3 of the top 5 spots on the newest list. LinkedIn says AI is reshaping every stage of the employment journey, leaving workers trying to figure out how to stay ahead. Stats Canada is laying off dozens of employees this week as part of the Liberal government's plan to reduce the size of the public service. Ottawa plans to eliminate 850 jobs in the coming years as part of a plan to find billions of dollars in savings. To achieve those targets, 3,200 employees are being informed their job may be impacted, in hopes many will leave voluntarily. Ottawa is also offering early retirement incentives to some workers. In 2025, the government asked nearly all departments to find 15% in savings in the coming years. It was a special night for some Canadians at the Golden Globes. From Seth Rogen's series on Hollywood itself to the writer of an international phenomenon, there was no shortage of homegrown award winners. CTV's Andrea Case has more.
Seth Rogen! For Vancouver's Seth Rogen, winning Best Actor in a Comedy or Musical at the 83rd Annual Golden Globes was a life-imitating art moment.
This is so weird. We just pretended to do this. And now it's happening.
His show, The Studio, also won Best Comedy or Musical.
Steve Martin, Martin Short especially, I remember growing up watching you guys my whole life thinking one day I'm going to beat them.
Rogen says people are now asking to be on the show, and award shows are a good place to find guests.
K-pop Demon Hunter!
Born in South Korea, K-pop Demon Hunter creator and co-director Maggie Kang moved to Toronto when she was just 5 years old. Now she's the Golden Globe winner for Best Animated Film.
Thank you to the Golden Globes and for everyone who believed that a movie so deeply rooted in Korean culture could resonate with a global audience.
The Sheridan College graduate says the now-hit film was 7 years in the making, and within 2 months after premiering in June, K-pop Demon Hunters became Netflix's most-watched film of all time. And its Golden Globe award-winning song, Golden, landed at #1 on the Billboard Hot 100.
In this film, we really wanted to depict female characters the way that we know women, which is really strong and bold, really silly and weird, and really hungry for food, and sometimes a little thirsty.
And can they get any hotter? The stars of the new Crave hit hockey romance, Heated Rivalry, came to play.
Just take a deep breath and picture everyone in the audience. You know.
Crave is a division of Bell Media, as is CTV.
Hi, moms. Hi, daughters.
We will be seeing each other a lot.
Yeah. Andrea Case, CTV News.
Mary J. Blige will be kicking off her first Las Vegas residency this spring.
Mary J is in the spot tonight, and I'ma make you feel alright.
The Grammy-winning R&B singer announced the 10-date residency, My Life, My Story, today. It comes just over a year after the release of her 15th studio album, Gratitude. The first show of the residency will kick off at Park MGM May 1st. Tickets go on sale this Friday. Still to come, we'll introduce you to the young Coquitlam golfer about to tee off and compete with some of the best in the world. And from hurt to healing, Adam finds out the story behind a Victoria volunteer who's committed to go forward and love the world. Next on the Sawatsky Sign-Off. Right now, here's Carrie with a preview of Your Morning Vancouver.
Canada is opening up the skies for more flights to and from the Middle East. Tuesday on Your Morning Vancouver, what it means for passengers and the onboard service they receive. Also, struggling with technology, how to get more savvy in the new year with some high-impact habits. We'll see you in the morning.
Time is running out for soccer fans hoping to attend this summer's World Cup, with the registration window closing tomorrow morning. The entry window for the third phase of ticketing ends at 11 a.m. Tuesday. During this phase, which opened December 11th, fans can select the matches they want to attend, their preferred ticket tiers, and how many tickets they want. FIFA says fans will find out next month whether their applications were successful. The World Cup kicks off on June 11th. We now know which figure skaters will represent Canada at the upcoming Winter Games in Italy. The roster announced today consists of 7 veterans and 5 Olympic first-timers. Ice dancers Piper Gillis and Paul Poirier will be making their 3rd Olympic appearance together. Deanna Stellato-Dodek will be making her Olympic debut in the pairs event, becoming the oldest female figure skater in nearly a century to compete at the Winter Games. The Milan Cortina Olympics gets underway on February the 6th. Milos Raonic has announced his retirement from professional tennis. The Ontario native last competed at the 2024 Paris Olympics, where he was eliminated in the first round. In his prime, he was ranked as high as number 3 in the world. He won 8 ATP Tour titles and reached the finals of the 2016 Wimbledon Championships, where he lost to Andy Murray in straight sets. Injuries shortened Raonic's career, as he never fully recovered from an injury to his shoulder last year. A Metro Vancouver golfer is about to tee off on one of the biggest stages in the sport. After years of hard work, AJ Ewart earned a chance to compete among the game's very best. CTV's Kevin Chirac has the story.
There you have it, AJ Ewart.
With that putt.
Impressive weekend.
Coquitlam's AJ Ewart officially punches his ticket to the PGA Tour.
To be able to get there, quickly and be able to live out my dream of playing on the PGA Tour it's exciting.
At the start of the week, no one would have thought, hey, I think AJ Ewart's going to get his PGA Tour card.
AJ outdueled the field in last month's qualifying school in Florida. An intense competition where hundreds of golfers fought for just a few PGA Tour cards. The exclusive card granting golfers full playing privileges in the sport's biggest events.
It's extremely challenging. The margins are so fine. And then once you kind of get to final stage, I almost felt like it was a sense of relief in a way.
It made me very proud. Oh, yeah.
For his dad, Brad Ewart, a well-known golf coach in Metro Vancouver, AJ's achievement was no surprise.
And you can see how the face is collapsed because he hit so many balls with it.
This was AJ's first club. Brad coached him from an early age and introduced him to golf greats, including Greg Norman and Canada's Mike Weir.
I'd see, some of the top names and from a really young age, and it was always something that I aspired to do.
Ewart spent countless hours on the course after school, till dark, driven to achieve his dream.
So when he was little, he could go to the golf course and play golf with his friends for hours on end. And that's where you get the passion.
My dad was, my first coach, and he would take me to the golf course, and I would play golf with him and his friends. And yeah, it was something that I'm super thankful for, and he's the reason why I'm here for sure.
Now at 26, after years of up and downs, he's ready for the next chapter.
It means everything. I think that's why, that's why you work.
Next up, Hawaii, where AJ tees it up at this week's Sony Open, which gets underway Thursday in Honolulu. Kevin Chirac, CTV News, Vancouver.
Someone in Ontario is $55 million richer. The province's lottery commission says the Lotto Max jackpot prize of $55 million this past Friday was bought in a county just east of Ottawa. The one piece of information missing is who bought the winning ticket. In an effort to protect the prize money until it's rightfully claimed, the commission won't reveal exactly where the winning ticket was sold.
That's why we have to ask the people coming forward a series of questions. Again, where did you buy the ticket? When did you buy the ticket? And a number of other questions that we use in the prize claim process to ensure that we are paying the rightful ticket owner that $55 million prize.
He says those with tickets should check them through the OLG's app or a retailer soon as they expire after 1 year. Were you guys in Ottawa recently?
I wish, yeah.
Yeah, interesting that they have to question you about where, because they want to make sure that someone didn't steal a ticket, right?
Makes sense, makes sense.
Okay, well, an unusual case of David versus Goliath played out at a zoo in Poland. That little muntjac deer, weighing in at 17 kilograms, went face-to-face with a massive Indian rhino, tipping the scales at nearly 1,700 kilos. In the end, it was Bambi who chased away the gentle giant. Zookeepers say it was all fun and games for the rhino, while the deer's defense was sincere as it was protecting its mate.
Looked like they were just playing.
Almost looks like a rhino costume.
Yeah. There's a zookeeper in there.
Yeah.
Perfect, yeah.
But I don't know, was the rhino just playing, or was it seriously scared of that deer?
We'll say
He was playing.
That's cuter, yeah.
Okay, Kevin, what's coming up tonight at 11:30?
Well, Mijung, we are hearing that businesses impacted by the Broadway line construction in Vancouver are suffering. We'll have an interview with the Mount Pleasant Business Improvement Association Executive Director and what he's asking for from the provincial government. And this teenager, Miles Mickey, is in critical condition after a hit-and-run Saturday in Richmond. Police say it's believed it happened after a fight on the side of the road. We will hear from Mickey's mother later tonight. Those stories and all your late-breaking news at 11:30.
Yeah, heartbreaking to see him in the hospital like that.
For sure.
All right, thank you, Kevin. At 65 years old, Teppy Hughes of Victoria has faced more than her share of challenges. Now she's showing us how resilience and kindness can turn pain into purpose and create bonds that last a lifetime. Adam explains in tonight's Sawatsky Sign-Off.
While she's waiting to visit a longtime friend, Teppy Hughes is stopping to make some new feathered ones.
So I was just telling the seagulls to go to the ocean and get some fish.
Teppy can still remember how both animals look, despite smallpox stealing her sight when she was 7.
Now I'm 65 years old and I don't even look at, right?
But before growing up to become a confident woman, Teppy was a fearful girl.
I didn't even know I was gonna be being loved by anybody.
She endured people who were cruel and others even worse before deciding to transform her hurt by helping others healing.
I can show them how to love people, not to be hurting them.
So she committed to spending countless hours volunteering for charities that help her neighbors in need.
It feel like it's good things you're doing for other people.
And be the best friend to folks like 94-year-old Eugene, who Teppy visits at his care home.
Oh, she's a friendly person.
If you ask Eugene the secret to their enduring friendship, he'll credit their shared humor by making a joke.
She's small. She won't beat me up.
She will beat you up. Yeah, right.
If you ask Teppy the same question, she'll praise his thoughtfulness.
I don't think I could ever find anybody like him.
Although Teppy lost her sight, she says she's gained the vision to make the world a better place in whatever way she can.
Don't live it in the past. Go forward. And if you love with the world will laugh with you and smile with you.
Adam Swatsky, CTV News, Victoria.
The Sawatsky Sign-Off, brought to you by
CapitalDirect.ca. Let's make your vision a reality with Capital Direct. Call and talk to our team today.
Inspiring story about Tempe, so positive.
Yeah,
you know,
great
after
outlook.
she's experienced so much adversity in her life.
Absolutely, such a good outlook on life.
Yeah, great inspiration. All right, let's take a look at our scenic snapshot for tonight. Not taken today, obviously. A calm and clear day at Crescent Beach. Thanks, Elizabeth, for sending this beautiful photo in. And we want to see your scenic snapshot as well. So email us at scenicsnapshot@ctv.ca. And I'm thinking a lot more sunny photos coming our way this week.
Yeah, it's nice to have that reminder of what it is like when the sun comes out. And tomorrow we'll get another reminder, right? All right, thanks, Ann. Kevin's back tonight at 11:30. Thanks for sharing part of your evening with us. Good night.
See you later.